Alright guys, so my camera sucks at life. But I'm basically trying to remove this A-pillar trim here. Got that side off, and apparently the camera didn't record it. So now we're doing this side. So first thing I did is I took this weather stripping here around the door, and you just pull that free. It's best to grab it right here because there's a little more room. So you just pull that free, get it out of the way, and then all you're going to do is get your fingers under this lip here. See the lip? Don't use a pry bar for this. All it is going to be a clip here. Just going to pull. And then pull it out towards you. And that's it. That's out. So you just got to be careful with it, because I believe that these cords right here, there's one on each side, I believe those set off the airbags. What you got to do, first take out the weather stripping on either side. You're going to want to pull back this piece. It's just held in with a couple of small clips. The same kind of clips that would hold the door panels to the doors. One of them didn't come out with the panel, so that's a pain in the ass. I'm going to have to pull that out now. So that is step one. Next thing you're going to need to do is this clip, or this panel. I'll show you on the other panel. It's held in with these kind of clips here. So for these, you're going to need to push them in on both sides. If you have a really long pair of needle nose pliers, the bottom one's easy. If you don't, I just put my pry bar in and pushed in, and then pried out just a little bit to get it to come out. It worked easy enough. So that's the way I would suggest doing it. We'll give you this warning: do not reuse this part. Nissan doesn't want you to reuse this in case it's going to hinder the airbags or anything like that. I don't see how it would. And I can tell that the body shop, when they redid that side of the car, they took this out and they reused it. So if it was okay for the body shop to do it, you know, it's not a shady body shop either. So just something to think about. If you want to go by everything Nissan says, you might not want to do this. You might want to do something else. But if you want to take the headliner out, those have to come out. If you want to buy new ones from Nissan, you can go right ahead. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try to get this guy out. So I got my pry bar here. I'm just going to push back on this a little bit to get room to put the pry bar in. You got to make sure you can see. If you can't see, you're kind of screwed, you know. And you're just going to find that clip that I just showed you. Push in on it. It's a little difficult. It's hard to see. I have found it. Is that right there? Gotcha. There we go. So that side's free now. It is a little frustrating because sometimes you get one side out. There we go. Sometimes you get one side out, you go to pry the other side, and it doesn't come out, or it pops back the other side. Once you've got one out, the others are, or the other side, I should say there's only one other. It's a hell of a lot easier. Okay, so that one's pretty free. So now I'm going to move up to this side. Again, be careful, because if you're not careful, it will pop the first side back in. We don't want that. That's annoying as hell. I'm being very careful right now. Oh. So, this one's being a bit of a pain. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. It was stuck on the headliner, that's why. And there we have it. She's out. So there you go. Both of those B-pillars successfully removed. Now for these pillars, I have removed these before. They can be a bit of a pain because down here in the bottom, they're kind of shoved underneath the seat. So down here in the bottom, they are back underneath the seat. So again, we're going to pull this door trim. There we go. And that'll give us some room to work here. Very similar to the front, where you're just kind of yanking on it. That clip's broken. I've removed these before, and you can tell. Okay, so we're going to try to get as close to the clips as we can when we're pulling, so that we don't cause any damage. But basically, you're just going to pull up from the top, and then pull it out towards you. You can see there are a clip here, another one here. I'll show you close-ups of those. So we've got, before I lose this, clip, 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 and then there's two of the plastic bits that go into there. And again, very careful when we're doing this, because, I don't know why that's there, right here, airbag. That's what sets off the airbag, so be very careful of that. So, be careful pulling these out. But that's how you remove the C pillar. It's the same thing on the other side. And there you have it. A pillar, B pillar, C pillar removed. I'm going to get some, I'm going to do some cleaning up, and then I'm going to get back to you guys, and we're going to take off the whole headliner. I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so, to take off the headliner, we're going to start off, we have to take off the oh shit handles here. And to do that, you have these clips here. All you have to do is pry up on them with a screwdriver. I just used my fingers, they came right out. And it's going to be, it looks like a 10mm socket to remove those. You might want an extension. Alright. So good. Yep, 10mm socket. I'm going to use an extension to make it a lot easier on myself. I think I couldn't even get at these. They're not in very tight. Just make sure you don't lose the bolts. So now that I've got these out, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just take these bolts and thread them back in. Just hand thread them in a little bit, and that way I don't have to worry about losing them. This is a little trick I did when I was working on the RX-7 stripping it. I didn't want to have too much stuff to worry about. So if I took out bolts that I could thread back in, you just thread them back in, and then when you go to put the car back together, you know exactly where they are. So I'm going to do the other three handles, or the other two handles I should say, and then I'll get back to you with the next step. So next thing we're going to tackle is the visors. So we're going to need a flathead screwdriver or a mini pry bar, a very, very thin pry bar like I used before. So we're going to take our screwdriver, and there's only a couple screws holding this in. You have to pry this piece right here out. The problem is this piece has another piece under it, and if you're not careful, you're going to put it in, and you're going to pry under both pieces. You'll see in a sec what I mean. But there are two separate pieces, and you can only pry up, there we go, on one of them. So you see this is one piece, and there's this piece underneath it. You only pry up on this one, because the other one is the screws, and if you pry up on that piece, and you pry too hard, you're going to snap it, and then you'll have nothing holding your visor in. Let's go ahead and pull those right off. So to pull this out, you can see there's just a little clip back here. So you have to pull it down and then out towards you, just like that. That's one visor out. We're going to go tackle the other side, and I'll get back to you in a bit. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out the little door light, dome light. We're going to turn this off. How about that? That's a good start. Then all we're going to do is just unclip the harness up at the top here. So I can't do it with one hand, so I'm going to unclip it I'll unclip it and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so the next thing we gotta do is we gotta take out these clips. There are 3 of them in the roof here. Now here's what it looks like when you take it out. Kind of a square peg with a round cover, not square peg, round hole, but it's kind of deceiving. You think it's going to be a round plug and it's actually squarish. It's actually very, very similar to the pieces that hold in the B pillars that we took out earlier. So similar to that, you've got to take one side of it, you got to push it in and pry down on it. You have to go around to the other side and do the same thing. And there's going to be a lot of back and forth with these. There we go. So you just got to kind of push in both sides and then pull. There we go. So there it is. It's going to be a clip on both sides here. Both sides you have to push in. So it's kind of difficult to get them, but they'll come out. And that's all it's holding in the back. And this is pretty much ready to come out. All I have to do is remove the last couple of clips. And I'll get back to you when that's ready. Nissan really didn't want us to take these out, apparently. I think I've got it figured out, though. But basically what you had to do is you had to twist this guy and pull him out. This is the only thing holding me up. There we go. Okay. Did it! So yeah, basically with all of your strength, twist, and then it'll come right out. So, that's all there is holding this in. All that's holding the headliner up right now is the door trim. So I'm going to put the camera in a good position, and I'm going to move my seats out of the way as much as I can, and we'll take this right out. So, whoops, I didn't want to do that. So we're taking my passenger seat. Oh, it's all the way back. Okay. So passenger seat is all the way back and it's folded down. Nissan recommends that you take the seat out, but I don't really want to do that today. I could. If I can't get it out, that's what we'll do. But we're going to try to take it out with just just lowering the seat down. Okay. Now what we're going to do is pull back the top of all these trims. Oh, see, there you go. So once I pull back the trim on this side, the whole thing should just fall right down. Just like that. Last one. There you have it. Whole thing fell right down. This is where I'd recommend having a helper. And you've also got wires over here, which I'll show you in a minute. So, you've got those 2 wires over there you've got to disconnect. That's the stereo antenna. And then over here, we got to remember that we got to push this up through. So there we go, that's up through. And it's caught on the mirror right now. And we got to undo the wires over here. It's starting to get windy. Okay, so this guy is going to be just a pull connection. I'm going to use this camera down. I hope you can see this. So this one right here is just a pull. It's just a regular antenna wire. And then this is just a clip. There we go. Those are both out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to try to twist it and put it out through the, basically through that door. And there's another wire connection on the driver's side that I missed. We're going to get that. So this is the connection we have to undo. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to just pry off the connector from the side of the car. Like that. Okay, so we got the connector off. And looks like we have a clip here. There we go. So, now that we've got that clip off, we're going to undo the little zip tie clips. Again, I'm sorry for the macro being terrible on this camera. go wide. So we've got the little zip ties up here. We're gonna undo those, and then we'll be able to pull this right out. Okay, guys, you do have to unclip the one that comes in from the roof there, because it's basically glued down, and they use pretty good glue. We'll say that. So you can't just pull it out. You've really got to unclip it. So now that's unclipped, we're good to go. We can take this guy right out. So I'm kind of just maneuvering it very slowly. Of course, we don't want to break it. There it is, the headliner in one piece. I accidentally bent it a couple spots, but nothing too bad. So, that's how you remove the headliner. Go put this in the garage, and then I'll give you a close-up. There we go. Leave that right there. Okay. So here you go. There's the Versa with no headliner. It's all out. So next video you guys will see, I'll be plastic dipping that trim, rewrapping the headliner, hopefully some more good stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped. See you later.